So most clothing brands or even most e-com businesses in general post content every single day and wonder why their videos don't convert at all. The product is good, the page looks decent, but sales are really inconsistent. Content feels like it disappears into nothing. And then you may have some videos blow up and some videos do absolutely terrible and you can't figure out why one blows up and why the other one fails. And I know because I was in that exact same position. As you guys can see, I've been running my clothing brand Crown Saints for a little bit over a year now. And sometimes I'll have videos that went viral and sometimes I'll have videos that did just 200 views. So in this video, I'm going to be going over that exact same system that actually shows you how marketing works for clothing brands, for e-com businesses, for info, for literally almost any business model, why marketing works and how. Not any tips, not just algorithm, not any special posts, but the actual psychology behind why people stop scrolling, why they buy, and why they come back later. Awareness stages, hooks, content angles, copywriting, brand language. I'll literally be teaching you guys all of it. And if you don't understand what those are right now, I promise you by the end of this video you will. Because I'm 18 years old and my brand has done over $1 million in this first year, and now we do over 6 figures each month. And also make sure you stick around to the end because I promise you majority of the stuff you're learning in this video you haven't heard or learned anywhere else, and I'm sharing it with all of you guys right now because I don't gatekeep. But let's get into it. But anyways, welcome to Marketing Mastery. This is how you create content that speaks to the audience that your brand or business is actually built for. Majority of you guys know who your customer is, you know how they feel, and what transformation actually comes from being a part of your business. But this isn't just about knowing, but this is actually how you communicate to those people. So that way, whenever somebody comes on your Instagram page or TikTok or website even, they feel like every single piece of content was specifically made for them. And this is what pre-sales people before they shop with you, before they go to your website, before they decide to buy from you. So majority of brands, maybe even you, post content and wonder why it never converts. And a lot of people might try to tell you that, your videos aren't high quality enough, but I promise you that's not just the reason. You have to make sure that the content is actually speaking to your audience, because a lot of you guys may just post content randomly and that content might not actually speak to the right target audience, or it might not speak to the people at the right awareness stage, and it might not have the right messaging. But using this framework, it'll literally fix all of that. So today we'll be going over what awareness is, what sophistication is, hooks, angles, and the copy of your creatives. But before we go into all of that, let's actually talk about your products and how majority of you guys market your products in the wrong way. You don't actually market your products, but rather you market the transformation that comes from someone having your product. For example, let me read you guys these 2 separate prompts so you guys can understand the difference between actually just marketing your product through words and actually marketing the transformation between the product. So if somebody comes to your website and this is how you're describing your product, this is how you market your product. Premium heavyweight hoodie, 460 GSM, available in X colorways. And that's just describing the characteristics of the product. And people don't just like buying a characteristic. And this is boring, it's generic, they see it every day, they're not enticed by it, and they don't feel a connection to it. But rather you saying something like, the first time someone asks you about your hoodie, you realize it started a conversation you could never have started yourself. This describes what somebody becomes after they purchase your product and what they can expect to experience after buying your product. And this is where the connection is actually made, and this is what stops the scroll, and this is what makes people want to stay to watch the rest. Or this is what even converts people whenever you're creating your product page on your website. So whenever you're posting content, you guys should answer this one question, and that is, what does this make my customer feel about themselves and not just the product? Because the product is just the vehicle, and the feeling is what they're actually buying. The feeling is what they tell their friends about. The feeling is what brings them back to shop for your next drop. Now let's get into awareness stages, and this is one of my favorite topics to actually learn about. And this is made by Eugene. He was able to identify 5 stages of customer awareness, which means every person who views your content is at one of these stages. And the biggest mistake brands make is speaking to everyone with the same message when a stage 1 person and a stage 5 person need completely different types of content, hooks, angles, CTAs for them to move forward. Learning about awareness stages gets so deep, genuinely, there's so much to cover. But of course I can't cover everything in one video or else this video will be way too long. So if you guys check the description, I made a full document explaining all of this in detail, so go ahead and check it out. So Before you even post your content, you want to analyze your video, because a lot of videos fail when they try to speak to everybody in each awareness stage, or they just create a video without knowing what awareness stage the video is for at all. So first, let's actually get into the 5 stages so you guys can actually understand what these are about. Stage 1 is unaware. This is probably at the top of the spectrum. This is the most broad. If you guys watch my other video about brand identity and ICP and avatars, you'll understand that each person who is shopping or trying to, or rather than, let's say potential customer, each potential customer that comes and views your page or product or whatever are in each awareness stage, and they each have a mass desire, they have a pain point, they have a problem that your brand is going to solve for them. So unaware is the most broad category of all. These are people that they don't know what problem your brand solves. They probably even never heard about the niche you're in or what your niche can represent, and they're just scrolling mindlessly. For me, for example, let's say a person at an unaware stage could just be a Christian. My brand was built for shy believers or people who want to represent their faith. But stage 1 unaware target audience for me could just be a Christian scrolling through, and they probably don't even know faith-based clothing exists. Clothing where they can represent their faith exists. They probably never even bought from a Christian brand before, and they're just mindlessly scrolling through, and they don't know what's going on. But whenever you're targeting or creating a video for this certain awareness stage, there are some things that you need to have inside of a video to make sure it actually hits your target audience. So one is a pattern interrupt. And for those of you guys that don't know what a pattern interrupt is, this is what people use for hooks. So this is something that gets them to stop scrolling and actually watch your video. Next would be content that surfaces a feeling or tension they have but never articulated. So you are going to target something they feel deep within, something that they resonate with, but they don't even know that this is an issue. You're just making it aware that they feel this way deep within. And this is not a product pitch. You're not trying to immediately sell them on a product during this video, but yet you're just trying to relate with them or get them to realize something that your brand ends up solving later on. So for example, for my niche, it would be the reason most people never say anything about their faith out loud has nothing to do with belief. Because remember, my brand targets a shy believer, someone who is scared to speak about their faith. So by saying this, I'm able to target my avatar and get them thinking about why they can't express their faith, even though they do believe. So this awareness stage is meant to target an audience and target the emotion they feel deep within, rather than just immediately trying to sell them on a product. Stage 2 will be problem aware. Now the difference between unaware and problem aware is that they do actually understand that the problem they have does exist. Rather, stage 1, they didn't even know it was a problem to begin with. So with stage 2, they know the tension exists. They feel the gap between where they are right now and where they want to be after they solve their problem, but they haven't really found a way to solve that problem yet. They haven't found the solution to it. And what they need from you is validation that their problem is real, and content that actually makes them feel seen and heard. Also, again, relatable in this aspect. So, for example, it would be, I spent years wearing brands that had nothing to do with who I actually was, not because I didn't care, but because nothing existed that felt right. And that pitch was made for another avatar that wears Christian clothing brands, but they haven't found one that actually represents them. But let's say, for example, I were to create a content angle for this avatar up here, the shy believer. It would be, always felt that calling to go out and spread the word, but I've always felt that calling to go out and spread the word of God, but I've never been able to, and not because I lack the faith to do so, but more because I lack the confidence. So that would be me relating to that avatar. So the first one just calls out their problem. The second one is meant to relate and make them feel heard, or kind of like think about forming a community, forming a bond with that person through a pain point. And stage 3 is solution aware. So this is somebody who knows their problem and they know a solution exists out there, but they just haven't found the right specific solution for them. They haven't found something that would work specifically for them. Or they just haven't cared enough to actually go out and look for that solution. So what they need from you is proof that you're the solution and something that separates you as a business from other people offering that same solution. So this is what separates you from other competitors out there and what makes you the right problem or the right solution for them. This for my niche, for my avatar, someone who just wants to rep their belief. It would be most Christian clothing looks like it was made for the lobby of a church, but Crown Saints was built for people who live their faith everywhere else. And the concept behind this is most Christian clothing, the general problem to their solution, the general problem and the general solution, most Christian clothing. And then I talk about what majority of people are doing. It looks like it was made for the lobby of a church, generic. Most Christian clothing is generic, but Crown Saints, my clothing brand, this is also known as a positioning statement. And if you guys haven't watched my last video, I suggest to go back and look at that after this. But my brand was built for a specific audience of people who spread their faith everywhere. So not just clothing that you simply buy at a church and wear, but something you can actually go out and confidently wear everywhere. Or let's say I were to go back and I was to speak to that shy believer avatar again, right? It would be most Christian clothing just try to sneak in a tiny verse somewhere. But Crown Saints make sure the text on their pieces are bold and big. That way you're confidently spreading the word everywhere walking around. So, or another example or another positioning statement for the solution aware audience, it could be I always wanted something to represent my faith for me without saying a word, and that's when I came across Crown Saints. And by wearing Crown Saints, I'm able to confidently spread the word everywhere I go without saying a word. That would be how you target an avatar inside of stage 3. Again, I know this video is a lot, but if you want more information in one spot, there is a free document that I left in the description for you guys to go grab, but grab that after I finish going over awareness stages. Next will be product aware. And these people, they've seen your brand before, they've heard about your brand before, they know what your brand does. Maybe they've even come to your website or clicked on the ad before, but they haven't bought from your brand yet and something is holding them back. And what they need from you is probably just reassurance, to be honest, that you're the right fit for them. So things you can provide them in these type of videos or this type of content would be social proof, specific details, objection removal, answer unspoken questions, qualify them, reassure your product's quality, the fit, and what it actually looks like on a real person. So you might have personally come across ads that say, 50,000 people rated this product 5 stars, or this product is 100% cotton. Or if you go on the website, you may see FAQs, frequently asked questions, even a size chart. You've probably seen all these things, but you guys didn't know that this was actually just little things that are meant for a person at the stage 4 awareness stage. So whenever people are running retargeting ads on Meta or any other platform, they're most likely using stage 4 and stage 5 awareness because these are more targeted towards the people who've already clicked on your website, seen your products, and are actually familiar with who you guys are. They just need reassurance to get them to actually buy the product. Now, stage 5 will be most aware, and these are people that are literally sold on your product, but there's maybe like a 1% aspect that's not making them buy. They need a reason to buy the product right now rather than just thinking they can come back later and buy it at another time. And this is literally just the tiny little aspect that tips the boat over. And let me tell you guys some examples. What this customer will need is a direct call to action with a specific reason, maybe some type of social proof, urgency, scarcity, a specific offer. And there's a whole bunch of examples for these. So on websites, you may see something that says like, and sale ends in 30 minutes. Offer expires in 15 minutes. Sale ends today. 315 people bought this last week. Never restocking again. only 6 items left. These are direct, specific, time-sensitive offers that gets your product to get somebody that's already sold on the product to just go ahead and just make the purchase right now. Now, when it comes to actually how much content you should post for each awareness stage, let me tell you a general rule of thumb that you guys can follow. See, 150% of your content should be targeted towards people at stage 1 and stage 2 because this is the widest part of the funnel. So with these two types of content, you can bring as many people into your funnel as possible, which is overall what we want. We want more eyes on our brand and we want more eyes on our company. This is also known as top of funnel content, which of course I'll get into later. These are the people who become warmed up to your brand and end up shopping and converting later. 30% should be around stage 3 and stage 4. So these are people that are already taking into consideration into buying your product. These are people that are more warmed and familiar with who you are as a company, what you do, and why you exist, and how you help them. And that 20% should be a direct call to action. Stage 5, these are people that are already sold on your product. You just need something to tip the boat over and get them to actually purchase. Now, a lot of people fail because they only focus on that stage 1 and stage 2 content. They're obsessed with engagement. They're obsessed with getting eyes and getting views on their brand, which of course is good, but without the other stages, you'll actually never be able to get these viewers to actually convert on your product. And at the end of the day, conversions matter. The more conversions, the happier the brand is, the more money you guys make, the better everything is. So make sure you're posting content that is for every single person at each awareness stage, and you can follow this general. Next, we are going to be getting into market sophistication, and this is actually understanding how aware your market is of a claim like yours. Just like awareness stages, there are different sophistication levels as well. And now, when it comes to this, a sophisticated market has heard every single claim before, speaking to them the same way you would speak to a fresh market. And basically, this is bad because if you don't understand this, it makes your brand invisible inside of a big niche or inside of a big category. Like, let's say if I were to sell sponges, right? Why would somebody buy from a brand new sponge company when like Scrub Daddy exists? Or let's say body wash. Why would somebody purchase body wash from a brand new company when Dove exists? And you really want to understand what market you're in because some markets have low sophistication levels and some are really high compared to others. Out of a low sophistication market, they have not heard many claims yet. There are not as many competitors. Simple direct promises work, such as for my clothing brand and my niche, premium faith-based streetwear that actually look good for you. And this would have really worked a long time ago when there weren't as many Christian clothing companies present today. And this probably applies to most niches and most markets in today's society. So this stage does not really apply anymore, and most people in your target audience have already heard of all these claims. Medium sophistication market, they've heard the basic claims, and now you just need a unique mechanism, a specific reason why your clothing or why your company works better and why others do not. Like, for example, a selling point that I personally have for my clothing brand is that I, the founder, actually reflect what the company is built for. So for my clothing brand, I can say this is built by someone who actually lives in his faith and cannot find what he needed anywhere else, so he built it himself. So this is basically me indirectly relating to my target audience because I built my brand off of a reflection of a struggle I faced. A high sophistication market, they have heard claims and they've heard the mechanisms, and now identity and community are majority of the only differentiators that you actually need. They're already sold on their products, stage 4 and 5 awareness levels, and they do not need to be convinced that the product or the problem you're solving can be solved if they purchase your product. They just need to feel like they're actually joining something, that they're actually connecting to something, and they're actually aligning themselves with something that's greater than just who they are. So this could be by when companies have highlights of people tagging them in their brand, or when you go on their website and say there are 30,000 other people who are wearing this exact same product. This is just a leverage showing them like, hey, if you buy this product, you're also joining this number of people who have already bought this product as well. And now, how do you exactly incorporate this into content? You never want to lead with product claims. You always want to lead with identity. So that's targeting who they are as a person and what they believe in. Storytelling or creating some type of tension, and then let the product be the natural resolution. This is not a hoodie. This is what it looks like. Next will be hooks. And this is probably the most important piece of any content you make, because now that you understand the things that are applied to before you actually create the video, such as sophistication levels, where your business is currently at, and awareness stage, where your viewer is currently at. Now you're going to learn how to factor all of these into a hook, because a hook is what keeps people watching in the first place. If you can't keep people on your video, stop the scroll, the pattern interrupts. It doesn't matter how much you know about your customer and your avatar or your target audience if you can't get them to keep on watching a video to fully enter your funnel. Now, if you've already watched majority of this video, congratulations, you are ahead of already 90% of people, because you understand where your customer lives at and where your brand is currently lived in. And now you just need to figure out how to curate winning content that actually targets these people so they can actually watch your video, enter your funnel, and eventually convert off your clothing brand. Now, I did leave that document in the description that I do recommend that you guys go and grab, because it'll be super helpful and beneficial for you guys to learn. But with that being said, if you want to continue learning hooks and how to actually create winning creatives that actually convert your viewers into buyers, I recommend that you guys go watch the part 2 to this video. But with that being said, I love all of you guys, and go ahead and drop a comment and drop a follow if you guys made it to the end of this video. Love y'all.